everyone, thanks for joining me today on my channel. Today we're going to be sewing up the Trystal Tote. It is my own pattern, so if you haven't purchased already, the link is down below. So I would appreciate it if you would support my small business and purchase and sew along with me. Let's get started. It is designed to be a no hardware catch-all tote made from raw edge material. I did my first one, which I will be releasing the video if I haven't already, out of all jelly vinyl with the extra pocket and the extra snap and these extra D-rings that I riveted on, so I could either use it as a crossbody or I can use the D-ring to clip my keys to it. It is bound, again, raw edges, no lining, and this one also has the extra base piece on it. The base piece is optional, but I do really like it, so the only extra I'm doing on this version is the base piece. I've always done the base piece, but it doesn't really change the shape of the bag. It just gives a little bit more support to the bottom of the bag. So I have my extra base piece. I have my two main pieces. It's TPU from Mormino. I have the Gusset piece here. I think this I got from Joann Fabric, I don't know how many years ago. And then I have my two straps and some binding. This is fold over elastic. So I'm gonna start, this may be a little out of order from what the pattern says. And because this is clear, if you use double stick tape, just be aware that it will show. And you can either leave these edges raw or fold them over. I prefer to fold them over, but I think I'm going to leave it raw on this one just to see how it looks. I don't know. And then in the directions it does say to fold it over, so you want to like fold it back and then top stitch. But so, and I know this is out of order, but that was weird. And you just want to make sure your tension's good, because everything will be visible on the inside. Okay, so here is the extra base piece sewn on. Now, this is where the actual pattern starts, so I apologize for going out of order. But I need like a 2-inch ruler, and we want to fold all the pieces over 1 inch. So like the gusset will be folded over 1 inch. So I'm drawing a 2-inch line. Oh, that's not really showing up on this one. It showed up on the jelly one really well. So if you draw a line 2 inches down and fold it to the line, you get the 1 inch fold here, which is what I did. So now I'm doing it to the other side of the gusset. Oops, my gusset's running away. So I have these both folded down, and I'm going to do these pieces also before I sew, so I can kind of just hopefully sew it all together. Let's see how. Ooh. And I'm using a vinyl marking pen so I can wipe it off if I want, but by the time I was done with my other ones, they had kind of smeared off, so. Call me crazy, but I think I prefer PVC over TPU. I know that is not the popular opinion, but the TPU is so soft that it's hard to get like a good crease or anything, or the PVC stuff. This one's actually a little thinner too. I don't, like I said, I got it from Joann's. I don't even know how many years ago, but I can get like a good crease on those, and this one is more of a rollover. So I'm going to draw my 2-inch line once again. It's kind of hard to see the edge of the clear vinyl. There we go. I think this is good, hopefully. So yeah, I think it depends on the bag or the pouch you're making, whether PVC or TPU would be better. And I know TPU has been known to like fog a little bit, but I've never seen that with PVC, but that's okay. Everybody's entitled to their opinion and their favorite type of material. Like something like this, like TPU is totally fine because it's not really a structured, I mean it is, but it's not. But like binding it and stuff adds structure to it, so it's fine. Okay, so now with all 4 of these, so 1, 2, and on both sides of the gusset, so 4 times, I'm going to stitch right along the top here, and then I'm going to stitch down along the edge here. So you will have 2 rows of stitching, one at about 1/8 of an inch and one at about 7/8 of an inch. I think you're basically top stitching and edge stitching maybe? I'm not really sure. Grab this one and keep going along the top part. Okay, now I'm grabbing my gusset piece and continuing the top of these. Coming back around now. Whew. Now we're gonna sew at 7/8. So you're barely like catching the edge of where this got folded over. Ooh, that was close. Okay, now I'm going to grab my gusset pieces and continue the series. Okay, so we have all of our pieces sewn down. So we don't have any raw edges at the top. We have our base piece sewn on. Again, that base piece is optional, but I like it. So now we're gonna sew our straps on. You want to make sure that you can put them on the inside or the outside. I'm using webbing for this one. My other bag that I showed at the beginning was a canvas strap. You want to mark your center top, but you do not want to clip it because it will be visible. So a little mark at the top, and I'm going to sew the straps on the inside of it. You can also rivet them on if you would prefer to do that. Okay. So you want to go 1.5 inches from that center mark for the inside of the strap. And these straps are a little bit shorter than what I recommended in the pattern, but that's okay. One of my testers did fold her straps under so it wasn't a raw edge, but I usually burn them and then like put a little bit of Fabri-Tac on the edge of it so it's extra treated. And then you want to make sure that this isn't twisted at all and come 1.5 inches over again. So you have a 3-inch gap between the insides of the straps. And like I said, you can either attach them by rivets, you can sew them on. I'm going to sew them with a basic box, or maybe an X. Okay, so I did an X on this, just kind of for extra security. You can send your threads. I'm gonna have to wind my bobbin again. Okay, so I have my handles. This is a 3-inch spacing between the insides of the handle. And now we're gonna do the same to the other piece. I'm going to play bobbin roulette and see if I can at least get one of them sewn. Yikes. This is going to be very close. I got it. I got it. Yep, I'm good. And I had some to spare. So there's my X for that one, and I'm gonna wind my bobbin and do my other one. Okay, so now I'm sewing the last handled piece on. Okay, so there is on, and now we get to attach the gusset. And it is wrong sides together. My testers did do right sides together, so if you want to do right side together, it will change the shape, like how the bag stands, but it still works the same way. if you do right sides together, and then you just need to flip it outward when you're done. I'm sewing like how I originally designed the pattern, to do wrong sides together and then bind the outside of the bag. If you need to snip the gusset, don't snip more than 1/8 of an inch, because we're sewing at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'm gonna snip just a tiny bit. There's my little snips right there. I don't know if you can see them. Very tiny, very minimal. Okay, so, and I showed this on one of my tutorials, and I know you guys, everybody sews differently. Some people prefer the gusset up, some people prefer the gusset down. I'm one of those that prefer the gusset down, and the way I clip it, it basically just creates like a shelf to sew on. So that's my way of thinking when I am sewing gussets on. And the seam allowance is 1/4 of an inch. Depending on what binding you're using, you may want to trim it down a little bit. Ugh. Where's my hump jumper? Between the gusset and the exterior piece. That slid a little bit, but that's all right. I'm gonna trim my seam allowance a little bit, especially because that one corner slipped. But if you're using a wider binding, you don't need to trim it down. And it will also depend on how thick your fabric choices are that you use to make this bag. My testing bag, like my original bag that I made, and what I used for the tutorial instructions was actually Olifun. It is the raw edge. It's super inexpensive. It's a great like practice material. So that's what I used. You don't need to trim any seam allowance on that because it's so thin. What I did with my fold over elastic. I feel like I should use a different color, but I don't think I have enough purple. That's fine, I guess. So I'm going to snip the corners so it's shaped like that. And then I didn't fill this. It's kind of empty, so I don't know if I'm going to get anything lit. A little bit. Nope. Not really. Bummer. I wonder if I have. I don't have my other one. I think my other lighter's upstairs. So anyways, I'm gonna just fold this down in. I'm matching up this top edge. So make sure your edges are clean and singed. You want to pull it not tight, but a little bit. My other bag, because I used different color thread on the binding, I sewed both pieces on and then did both binding pieces. So both ways work. It's just personal preference of what you like. It does give it a little more if you sew the back piece on. before binding it. It gives it a little more something to work with. Then I'm cutting this right past. I'm going to trim the corners. See if I get lucky. Nope. Shoot. Okay, so I have that clipped on, and now I'm gonna stitch it on, making sure to catch both the front and the back. I made it all. Yay, I caught it all. Good job. Good job. Pat on the back. I always am scared of finding curves, especially. So that side is completed. Now we're gonna do the other side the same way. And at this point, if you decide you still want to add a pocket, you can until you get it on. But go back to that curve. I'm gonna clip these. So my curve is clipped. Okay. Lots of clips on that curve, but now we're gonna sew it. Okay, got that curve on, or that piece on. Sorry, I feel like I sew so slow compared to some people. And I feel like you guys are like, come on, get on with it. All right, I'm gonna trim my seam allowance. Maybe I'll send this one to my mom. I left my trash can upstairs when I emptied it last night. So I have like a pile of trash. All right, here goes. I'm going to, again, snip that. We'll just go on the back. Fold it over. Remember, we're not pulling this too tight, but a little bit taut. Okay, have that attached, and now I'm going to stitch it on, and then we're done. But I barely made it on that. But I made it. Okay, this got pulled down a little bit. I did use double stick tape on the other one, and it helped kind of stick where it needed to start and stop. So if you want to do that, you can. Or make it come up a little bit over the edge too. So there we have the Trystal Tote. The only extra piece is on the bottom, and I did leave these raw edges, so I didn't even fold those over. So that's an option too. The handles are a little bit shorter, so it'll just be a grab bag. But so you see how this, I'll show you like how it sits with the binding on the outside, and that's sewing wrong sides together when you're sewing the gusset. So if we were to turn it, and you sew right sides together and bind it and then turn it. My hairdryer is not plugged in. I would have put some heat on it, but that's all right. It doesn't change the bag at all. It's still a great working bag. It just sits a little bit different. And my preference is to have it, the binding on the outside. So if you do it with the binding on the inside where you sew the right sides together and then bind it and then turn it, it just changes the way the bag sits. It doesn't change like anything else other than, so this is the binding. Obviously it's different fabric. This is the way it sits with the binding on the outside. And then this is, see how the gusset kind of flares out a little bit? So it still works. You can do either way, but I prefer that way. My testers, I have 2 testers that sewed it with the right sides together, binding, and then turning it. So there's lots of options for this bag. Like I said, this is the most basic other than that extra gusset piece. But there. Like one of my, I'll show you one of my mock-up bags. I forgot to even sew the straps on. Hello, no straps. But I have the thing, so it could just be a big catch-all crossbody too, with no handles. So if you forget, and then I was like, well, I could just rivet straps on too. So that's an option. I don't know, that's one of my mock-ups that I did. But so I hope you enjoy this tutorial. I hope you enjoy the pattern and make lots of them. They make great gift bags, party favor bags made out of the Ollie Fun. If you can get fun printed ones, it sews up really quick, and the Ollie Fun's super expensive. So like a goodie bag for your kid's birthday party or something, that's a great option too. Like I said, it's just kind of a catch-all tote, originally designed with no hardware, but you can make it have hardware, and still it's very minimal. But again, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. Actually, I'll put this one in front since this is the one that we did.